Your team sucks live.
So, as you can tell, I'm not in my studio anymore. I've left the building. I'm in Austin, Texas, at the Lamborghini dealership. I just had to get out. The Cowboy fans literally kicked me out of Dallas. They kicked me out of Dallas, so I came to the best place in Texas anyway, and that would be Austin. And so we're broadcasting live as usual from the Lambo dealership. A buddy of mine who built the Formula One track here, I asked him what he was up to. I needed to get out of the house. He said, come on by, hang out. You can do the Your Team Sucks podcast from the dealership. There's some incredible cars here, obviously. Big George, what's up, man? How are you?
Not bad. Have you wrapped that one up for me yet, or which one are you bringing me?
It's your Christmas present, bro. I'm gonna put that one. I'm gonna put a big bow on it for you.
Imagine
and, you can run over Jordan with it.
I wouldn't want to touch anything with that thing. I would like to just hover in the air. That thing looks so beautiful.
It is. It's a nice ride, no doubt about it. It's a very nice ride. It's a cool environment to do our podcast from. We have a very. There's some great matchups this week in the NFL. Week 11 is going to be pretty epic. As usual, we're going to make our picks here. We are going to show you how Jordan doesn't know what he's talking about as usual. And
hey, I picked great last week.
Here's the deal. So whoever talks the best shit today between George, Jordan, and myself gets this Lamborghini right behind me. Whoever has the best shit-talking game today wins the black Lambo that is right behind me. What do y'all think?
What a prize.
Oh, Jose already said we already got somebody coming in here.
That's funny.
So John is George's sugar daddy.
Jose's winning the shit-talking contest already.
Wow.
Hey, if I can find a sugar daddy to give me Lambos, I might take one.
Yeah, that's tempting right there.
Wow. I would say something completely inappropriate if I was not in the Lamborghini dealership, but I have to be respectful to the environment that I'm in. But Jose, what's up, Jose? This is a football show, man. When you talking about George being me being George's sugar daddy, that's absolutely not true at all.
I'm looking for some sugar daddies. You want to buy me some Lambos? Is there anyone out there that looking to buy Lambos?
You've officially heard it here. George,
I'm for sale. You can buy my ass.
George will change his sexual orientation for Lamborghini. That's a really nice way of me saying that. That is the PG-13.
Yeah, wrap that sucker up.
That is the PG-13.
Well, we got some Lambo of quarterbacks tonight. This game tonight is definitely some Lamborghini quarterbacks.
Yes.
The young lion against the old lion. Actually, I don't know why I'm calling him the old lion. He's still a young guy, but Russ against Murray, what a game tonight.
I am so excited about this game tonight.
This is a great game. So let's jump into the picks. So we have the Cardinals at the Seahawks tonight. This should be pretty epic. Jordan, having a little trouble reading the screen there. What's the line here?
+3 for Arizona. Over and under is 57. You want me to zoom a little bit? We can zoom a little bit.
That's okay. So the Cardinals are getting 3 points.
Cardinals are getting 3 points, laying a quarter. The line's been going Cardinals' way since it's open. I don't know. I can't call this game. This is a tough game. I really want to watch it, but I can't call a winner.
You know, I really like the Cardinals here. I think that Seattle, their defense is incredibly challenged at this point. I think their defense is pretty much on vacation. They've relied way too much on Russell Wilson. It caught up to him last week. I really like the Cardinals to take the next step in the evolution of that organization, and I think they win the game tonight. Jordan?
Losing 4 straight for Seattle would be tough. It's hard to say Russ is going to lose 4 straight.
Well, all the sharp money's on Arizona, from what I hear, and it's difficult to see the it's difficult to see the Seahawks lose 4 straight. It's also difficult to see Arizona sweeping the Seahawks in that division. Who would have thought that? Only me, who called Arizona at the beginning of the season to win the series, and you said I was crazy to win the division. But anyway, I do like the Cardinals to win this. I would not bet that, however, because I have too much faith in Russell Wilson. I think both of these defenses aren't great, and I think the play is over 57 points. This is going to be a real shootout.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a shootout. The over is probably the number to play. What's next on the agenda there, Jordan? Looks like we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Cleveland Browns.
Philadelphia +3 at Cleveland.
Yeah, I like Cleveland here. I think Cleveland's starting to play a little better. They're getting exactly who they are down. They're a running team that has to force the ball down people's throats. They have to play a little bit of bully ball, and I think Cleveland takes out Philly in this game.
Jordan?
I agree. I love Cleveland at home here. It's a great game. Like you said, they're not asking too much from Baker Mayfield. If we can get him to throw 18 or less times in a game, give it to Chubb, give it to Hunt, run it down their throat, and play really good defense. There's a lot of good key pieces on defense for Cleveland. I love them at the -3.
I think it's really, when you look at all the games this week, there's some really good opportunities to play this week. I really love Cleveland here. I think Cleveland, still is sort of under the radar. Chubb coming back has been a big deal for them. I like the coach. They're going to ground and pound, and I think they're gonna beat Philadelphia by more than 3 points. I think it's a pretty good lock, I would say.
Also, though, if you look at Philadelphia's schedule, I think this is almost a must-win game for them. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but their schedule gets a lot harder. If they want to win this division, the Cleveland is one of the winnable games on their schedule. There's not a lot of them. They basically have Cleveland, Washington, and the Cowboys, and every other one is tough. They're not beating the Ravens. They're not beating the Chiefs.
It's the NFC East. Nobody wants to win the division. I'm pretty sure they all want to lose. In fact, I really think the NFL needs to implement a new rule basically saying that if you can't win at least 9 games, you don't make the playoffs.
Eight's fine.
If you can't win, literally you're going to have a playoff team potentially win a division with 6 or 7 wins.
No, they're saying statistically that somebody could win with 4.
Wow.
4 and a tie could win it, depending on how things go. It's ugly over there.
So the potential is for somebody in the NFC East to win the division with 4 games, and that's going to keep another team out of the playoffs.
Right, that could have 8 or 9 wins.
They'll get to host a game probably.
Yeah, and they'll get to play at home.
That is tragic. That's pretty terrible. All right, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers that are, they're giving 10 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually really like Pittsburgh here too. I think Pittsburgh is winning games in fairly dominant fashion. There's not a weakness on that team. I don't know any weakness that you can put together besides Big Ben getting hurt. They have great defense. They have, good running game, good passing game, and solid special teams and a great coach. Pittsburgh has a real shot to go and win the Super Bowl this year. I think they're proving that week over week, and I do think that they're going to win this game by more than 10. George, what do you think?
I think it's a tough game. There's something I might tease the Steelers, but I just think it's a tough game. I know the coach came out and said we're not going to overlook this game. We play every game hard, but you still might overlook this game.
Him saying that is just a sign that they're overlooking this game. Right? Jacksonville played Green Bay really hard last week, and I think Green Bay was overlooking Jacksonville as well. That was a 4-point game. They're giving them 10 points, and until last week, the Steelers had a habit of not beating anybody handily. Okay? They really weren't dominating anybody out there. And so I would not lay the 10 points on the Steelers. I don't like it. I would stay away from this game altogether.
Right.
It's a trap.
You two got to – if somebody wants to win the damn Lamborghini, y'all got to step up your game. Y'all are being way too nice to each other. This is not working out for you guys. For me to pay for this car and give it to you, it's not working out. You got to step it up big time. I mean, I know George already made different offers, but that's probably not going to work out either.
I tried.
He tried.
These fucking Ravens right here. The Ravens are the one team that lost for me last week, or else I would have been 4-0. The Ravens were the team that killed me. I can't trust the Ravens again. They're laying 5 against Tennessee. It doesn't look good. I don't know. I have to stay away from this game as well, but I think maybe under 49.5 seems high.
Yeah, you've got the Tennessee Titans at the Baltimore Ravens in there, and the Titans are getting 5 points. Wow, that's too many points. I think the Ravens are not. I don't think the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. I think that they're gonna get in the playoffs, and I think they're gonna get beat pretty handily in the playoffs until he can learn to throw from the pocket and not rely just on his legs. And to be able to bring them back in games, he hasn't been able to bring them back when they don't get a lead. That team, if that team does not get a lead, they're in trouble, right? I mean, so I don't know, Jordan. I know you're in love with Lamar Jackson, Jordan. So let's hear your love for him and how great he is. Go ahead.
No, you just love to hate Lamar Jackson.
That's not true.
Every chance you get, you're like, oh, he had a bad game. He's right. It was a rainstorm against Bill Belichick. Look at Bill Belichick against all young quarterbacks. He does great, right? And then I don't know. I just wouldn't read too much into that game. He snapped 31 game win streak of scoring at least 20 points. Almost came back in that one. And you say he can't throw the ball. Who can throw in a rainstorm? Cam didn't throw it that well either.
Throwing a rainstorm pretty well. There's lots of quarterbacks that can throw in rainstorms. Lots.
Sure. Well, I'm not reading too much into that.
Can he throw anywhere? Can he throw consistently? And can he bring a team back when they're down? When they're on the road or even at home and they get down by a touchdown and they need them to score with 3 minutes left, I've never seen Lamar Jackson do it. George, have you?
He's not a clutch. He's definitely not a clutch performer. That's the problem.
Look, the word out of Titans camp, okay? The word out of the Titans camp is that they've been intentionally putting Derrick Henry on a snap count because they want him to last all season and be able to make a deep playoff run. So in these games, they're using him a lot less than I think they should to be the optimal Titans team, meaning they're putting the ball in Tannehill's hands more. And I do like Tannehill. They get Brown back. It makes sense to some extent for the team. But I like the Ravens here to win by a substantial amount. This is a bounce back game for them.
Right. All right. Well, we have the Falcons versus the Saints. We have the premiere of Jameis Winston as the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. That's going to be interesting. The Falcons are getting 4 points, and there's a lot of chatter. There's a whole lot of chatter around Jameis Winston, but the Saints may be a better football team with him opposed to Drew Brees. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's a stretch. I think Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he runs that offense incredibly well for Sean Payton. I am not sold on Jameis Winston, except that he's going to throw 10 touchdowns and he's going to throw 10 interceptions. And we'll see. He possibly coached him up, but I don't touch this game at all because of Jameis Winston. George?
I'm taking the Saints here. I'm actually buying it down to 3. I played it early, and this was one of my games I played. I think Jameis is going to come back and have a really good outing. He's not better, but he's more exciting. He's going to bring more dynamic to the offense, and it's going to change the whole offensive team. I think it's going to be maybe not a better thing for him, but a different thing that's going to help out a little bit just to get through the monotony of the rest of the season. And they're saying there's still potential he can come back for the playoffs. So,
Jordan,
we'll see what happens.
Hey, I completely agree with George. I love the Saints in this one. I don't think Jameis Winston's going to be better, but I think he is auditioning for that Saints job when Drew Brees retires at the end of the season. And these games are big for him. This is his chance. And he's a great athlete. He was a high draft pick. There was a reason he was taken that high. And a lot of quarterbacks throw interceptions in that Arian system. It's a deep ball, lob it up there for Mike Evans' system. And so we'll see. Teddy Bridgewater took over admirably last year. I expect Jameis Winston to do very similar this year. Probably not up to Drew Brees' standards, but he'll do fine. And that Falcons defense is awful. So he gets to practice against a college defense in his first game before he goes up against real competition. So I love the Saints here.
We have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Washington football team. So, Jordan, have you come up with a name yet for the Washington football team? Anything?
They got to stay the Washington football team, the WFT. I love it. It's great. The WFT. There's nothing like getting beat by a football team with no name. That is real disrespect.
Well, this should actually be a pretty competitive game. I would not touch this game with a 10-foot pole, but you have the Bengals that are getting 2 points in Washington at the Washington football team. George, what do you think here?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't touch this game. If I had to do it, I'd play Washington, but there's no real reason to do it, so I stay away.
We have somebody. So we have a comment here, and it's pretty simple. It just says Falcons. So a Facebook user, what are you talking about when you say Falcons? And so, yeah, I mean, listen, you got Joe Burrow here. I guess they meant Bengals. Yeah, I kind of like the Bengals in this game too, but I don't touch it as well. Burrow has played incredibly well, but this is a pretty meaningless game. Neither of these teams are going anywhere. Well, that's not true.
You say that Washington can win this.
That's true. I forget. They may be the division winner of the NFC East with four wins. Maybe this is one of the the games that tops them from winning the NFC East, which is fairly pathetic. Now, Dallas Cowboy fans, when I say that, don't get butthurt and get too upset with me, because I am going to go back to Dallas here at some point in the near future. But your division does suck, and so do the Cowboys. Your entire division, though, if it makes you feel any better, sucks as bad as you do for the most part. George's going to tell us how great the Giants are here in a little bit, but we'll see. So you have the New England Patriots that are visiting the lowly Houston Texans. And the Texans are getting, is that right? 2 points? Is that it?
2 points.
Wow. I really like the Patriots here. I think the Patriots are underrated. Unfortunately, as a Dolphin fan, I hate to say that, but I think the Patriots are better than people think they are. I think they go in there and they beat the Texans pretty easily, thus increasing the Dolphins' number 1 and 2 picks for next year. So that's somewhat of a win.
I love the Patriots here as well.
Yeah.
The only way the Patriots lose this game if Bill Belichick goes, oh man, I won one last week and my pick isn't going to be as good. The tank isn't working as well as planned. But no, I don't think so. I think the Patriots win this one handy against the Texans. I think every time Hopkins makes a big play, it just deflates that Texas locker room, and it's on every media source right now. So yeah, I love the Patriots in this one.
George?
Yeah, it's actually a game I'm playing. I played the Patriots. I think this is going to be an embarrassment. Houston's given up. There's nobody on the team that's even trying any longer. You see the quarterback; he's laughing. They're down. They're losing the game, and he's laughing up and down the field. They gave up. They gave up on the team. They gave up on the coach. There's no heart in Houston.
Yeah, it's really terrible. But I mean, Bill O'Brien got fired, of course. They got rid of Hopkins. We see what he did last week. Hopkins is such a great player. I don't know how you let him walk out of the building like they did. And you see now what's happening in Arizona, right? It's pretty amazing when you have a player like that. That is a true franchise wide receiver that can make all the difference in a season. And you're seeing the Texans basically fall apart. Dolphin fans are happy about that. So,
interesting point. Let me just interject that DeAndre Hopkins this week made the 99 club in Madden, which is a really big deal. There's only so many of them. They get sent the whole box and everything. And so that's just a little more salt in the wound for Texans fans right there. He is one of now 5 99s in the game. So one of the 5 best players in the NFL. They gave him away for a washed-up running back and a second-round pick. Diggs, who I love, commanded way more of a haul than he did.
Right. Well, and Diggs has made a huge contribution there as well, too. And you look at Minnesota.
He's great for a 91.
Yeah. So, all right, we have the lowly, pathetic New York Jets that are playing the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers are due to win a game here. I mean, the perfect team to play that any team has to play to win is the New York Jets. So the Chargers win this game. I don't know. The 9.5 seems like too many to me. I don't touch this, but if the Chargers win this one, hands down, George.
Yeah, I think you actually could play this game because the Chargers are going to bury the Jets. They've played nothing but tough competition, and they played it all tough, But now they're going to get an easy game, and you're going to see the rookie's going to be like, "Hey, this is easy." He's going to finally realize there is some easy games in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Jets without Darnold again, right? So whatever you want to do with that. Flacco's looked decent from time to time. No, I love the Chargers here. I think they win this one easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the – I mean, that's obviously a pretty easy pick. Now, you have the Miami Dolphins, the red-hot 5 in a row Miami Dolphins that are headed to Denver to play the Broncos, and the Dolphins are giving 3.5 points here. Is Drew Lock playing in this game, Jordan?
No, Ripien.
Oh, it's Rippon, right? Mark Rippon. For those older people like me and George, they know that's Mark Rippon's son. Mark Rippon was a Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Washington Redskins because they were called the Redskins at that time. They're now the football team. Do they have to go back and change his ring? Do you think they have to redo the ring and take off the Redskins and put on football team?
Sure. Try to take that ring back from some of those old guys. See what they do.
Yeah, that would probably not turn out too well for them. So I really like the Dolphins here. I mean, you have a backup quarterback going against a blitz-happy turnover machine in Miami. Rippon is – I saw him play a game early in the year, and he's feisty, and it'll be competitive. But I can't see – I can't see the Dolphins losing this one, losing it, or it even being this close. I think the Dolphins win this one by at least 7 to 10 points. Jordan?
I like the Dolphins to win this. I don't know about 7 to 10 points. I would definitely take them at the -3.5. They're on a roll. They're a lot hotter than everybody, especially George, likes to give them credit for. Broncos missing some really big pieces at the beginning of the season. I thought this was their year, and then they just fell apart. It's the what if we weren't injured team. This is almost a trap. It's too good to be true. I think this line should be 6 or 7, and that's just because nobody's showing the Dolphins any love.
Well, it's interesting, and as a Dolphin fan, I have to be a realist, but you are starting to see in a lot of the Dolphin fan groups, people put, pictures of Tua holding a Super Bowl trophy, and everybody needs to just relax a little bit, right? Because the Dolphins are an incredibly well-coached team, but they're young. They're very young. They have one player that is over 30 years old in the entire roster, and that's Fitzpatrick. Everybody knows who that is, obviously. Everybody needs to slow down just a little bit. I think the Dolphins are going to make a nice playoff run. And a lot of the Dolphin fans, and probably some who are just jumping back on the bandwagon. And by the way, if you've been off the bandwagon as a Dolphin fan, we don't want you back. We want you. If you were there when they were 1-15, you're welcome to come back now. But all you fair weather fans who hated on them for years, we don't want you back. We don't need you, right? They're doing just fine without you, and stop posting a bunch of BS with Tua holding Super Bowl trophies this year. Don't jinx what they're doing. And I'm a little bit superstitious, as you could probably tell. So
yeah, you weren't with us when we went 4-5 last year. We don't want you this year when we go 8-8.
I don't want you. I don't want you. George, let's hear it.
This team, everybody's crowning them already. I'm hoping that the coach has them a little more reeled in than the fans like you guys here, everybody crowning him already. I think this is going to be a tough game for them. Everybody's overlooking Denver. Denver's defense at home is no joke. This is going to be a tough game for Miami, and if they're coming in with a big swollen head like the fans, they're going to get beat.
Yeah. Like I said, Miami's supposed to win their next 3 games, right? Bengals, Broncos, and Jets. And I like Miami as an underdog, and Flores gets them prepared for those dog games, coming with a chip on their shoulder, and they take some of them, and it's exciting. I don't know yet how I feel about the Dolphins as a favorite. We just haven't seen.
That's why I said George and I were chatting before the show here, and that's what I was saying. Is this is actually going to be a great test for the mental fortitude of the Miami, for that young team, to see if they're reading their own press clippings, to see how they come out and play this game. But if I know the coach, I don't think you're going to see anything dramatically different. He's not going to let this go to their head. But we'll see. These are young players. They've had some success. They handled, being underdogs and losing really well. Let's see how they handle being a front runner. And we're going to find out a lot about the Miami Dolphins this week. And Jose, what are you talking about, Jose? I just literally said everybody needs to slow down on the Dolphins. And you said I'm talking about how great they are. I think they will win the game, but we'll see. Right? But I'm not ready to anoint them just yet. If they win the next 3, then you may hear me talking a ton of shit after that.
Right before they play the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, we'll see, though. We will absolutely see what happens with them. All right, we have the lowly Dallas Cowboys. And don't get mad at me, Dallas fans. I'm being real.
Dude, they're going to throw rocks at your new Lamborghini. You should slow your roll.
Yeah, well, right now, as far as our competition goes, that's my Lamborghini. Y'all are getting destroyed. So y'all need to step up your game. Step it up. Step it up. All right, Cowboys are getting 7 points against the Vikings. I mean, who knows what to expect from the Cowboys coming off a bye. They were game. They played pretty well against the Steelers in a loss. They've had 2 weeks. I think this game may be a little bit closer than people think, just because Minnesota's going to run the ball. The Minnesota's passing game is nothing to write home about, nobody's really scared of it. So the Cowboys will stack up. But with all that said, I think Minnesota wins, and I would probably play this game. And I would, I think they're probably going to win by more than 7. George?
This game actually opened up 9.5, 10, but the wise guys are smart because Dallas gets a bye. Minnesota's off a short week. That usually spells disaster for the team, So I think Dallas is a good play here, plus the 7. I think they're gonna give some kind of performance, and Minnesota's gonna half-ass it. I can see Dallas winning this game.
I agree. I mean, Kirk Cousins is coming off of winning a primetime game. When does that ever happen? So 2020 is a pretty weird year. Anyway, I do like the Cowboys a lot here. I think this is the biggest test yet for their new coach. Well-coached teams coming off of buys do really well. Well-coached teams against teams coming off short weeks on buys should not lose by more than 7 points.
Wait. Are you saying the Cowboys are a well-coached team?
No, I'm saying if they were well-coached, they should not lose by more than 7 points. I'm going to roll the dice on that one, But if they get destroyed playing a team off a short week with them coming off the bye, this coach should be fired on the spot. I don't care what kind of injuries you have, okay? You have a bunch of NFL professional athletes out there, okay? And 2 weeks to prepare for a team that is tired, that isn't getting as much prep against you, okay? This is the biggest game for this coach.
You just got blocked by 20 more Cowboy groups just now.
No. I'm taking the Cowboys here. I like the Cowboys to upset here, okay? Maybe not win outright. Maybe just upset the line.
I would take that bet offline. You definitely are not getting the Lambo.
No, I have to agree with him. It's just the perfect spot, the perfect scenario for it.
George,
and the Vikings aren't as good as people think.
You just had Minnesota in your top 15 teams.
Above my
rankings.
Have you ever heard of the term "on any given Sunday"?
Of course.
Have you heard that term before? Well, this is one of those. This is one of those Sundays.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be this Sunday. I'm pretty sure it won't be this Sunday against Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
It's just like when Miami beat the Rams. It's the same scenario.
What do you mean? The Dolphins beat the Cardinals too.
The same scenario.
It's not the same scenario. The Dolphins have won 5 straight.
And it all started with that bye.
Oh my goodness! If the Cowboys played the Dolphins right now, it wouldn't even be interesting.
It would definitely be interesting.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll see. That's the beauty of this is there will be an outcome on Sunday, and then we do another show on Tuesday.
We'll see. I would definitely roll the dice on the Cowboys there, having faith and hoping that the talent they have and the coach is good enough to whip them into shape. And keep in mind, they played the Steelers really tough before the bye. So it was a loss, but it was a moral victory against an undefeated team, and they needed that before the bye. Had they lost that one the way they lost the 3 before it, like 30-3 or 30-9 or 45-3, whatever it was,
what it's come to.
I wouldn't be as hopeful. But I like this. Moral victories.
We'll see. Green Bay Packers.
They're starting to believe.
Getting 2 points at the Indianapolis Colts. This is a really good ball game. I lay off of this one. I don't touch this one, but I really like Indy and the way they're playing. They're another team that plays complementary football, right? I know George is not a Phillip Rivers fan, but he's been playing pretty well, and they're winning a lot of ball games. So what's your take here, George?
This is a big test, actually, for both teams. I'm not going to play it, but if I had to play it, I'd play the Colts. I think they're going to take the Packers down in this game. But it's too tough of a game to play. I would just lay off of it.
Gordon?
I do like Rodgers a lot more than Rivers, but I like the rest of the Colts a lot more than the rest of the Packers. I mean, that Rodgers-Adams combo is really good. That Colts defense is really good. I think I would side with the Colts only in the fact that I would play this game as under 51.
All right. And what do we have next? We have
Monday night loss.
Monday night. Very good ball game here.
We're not even talking about the biggest game of the week. It's the Raiders and the Chiefs because it's the COVID game. The whole Raiders team is in COVID list, so we're not sure who's going to play. But, if they had a healthy Raiders team, I would like to see them go for it.
Is it still on the board?
They're still going to play the game.
Come on, man.
I'm sure you didn't expect they were going to win the first game either. Yeah, the game is still going to go, but nobody has it on the board. There's no lines for it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why we don't see it up here then.
But they're still playing the game. The NFL hasn't moved it. It's a Sunday night game, Raiders-Chiefs.
All right. Well, right now let's look at the Rams versus the GOAT, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the Rams here. I just think I think the Rams defense as the season goes on here is going to get better and better. And I think they're still a Super Bowl contender, and I think that they're going to put pressure on Brady, and I think that the Rams get this game. Anybody obviously that pressures Brady, and obviously this is true of any quarterback, but especially Brady because he's not very mobile. If you can get pressure on him, he is an incredibly average quarterback. He's actually a bad quarterback when it comes to that. When you can't put pressure, he'll pick you apart like he's done for a long time. But I really like the Rams here. George?
I love the Rams here. +4 seems great. This is going to be a really tough game. I think the Rams defense is looking to make a statement. I think the Rams beat them here straight up.
Jordan?
I don't know. The Bucs were a lot better this last week than they were the week before, obviously. Like you said about pressure on Brady, I do like the Rams here. I like Aaron Donald. I think the Rams are, if anybody's flying under the radar right now, they're the Rams. They did get beat by Miami, but it was the short week thing, and I'm not really holding that against them. They're playing really good football right now. That defense looks legit. And I like the Rams to win this. It's kind of it'll be a statement game for them, in my opinion. I think I like myself and the rest of the country like the Bucs, despite their hiccups, more than you two guys do, because you're Patriot haters and Tom Brady haters, But
I'm not a Tom Brady hater. That's not true.
Definitely hate Tom Brady, and George thinks he can't throw it all, even though he's set every record there is, and he's geriatric and whatnot.
What record? The geriatric? No, Breeze has all those records, just to let you know. But no, I think the Rams. Donald hasn't had a sack against Tom Brady. He said he's really looking forward to sack the GOAT. So I hope he buries him into the ground a few times. It's not this game.
It could happen, no doubt. And I believe, besides the Raider game, I like, obviously, if half of the Raiders or most of the Raiders' defense is out, I love the Chiefs. But it's hard to put a number on that.
There's 9 defensive starters. 9 defensive starters on the COVID list.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
crazy.
good thing all their defensive players are like replacement level anyway. It's all about offense on the Raiders, so we'll see what happens.
You really think that you can lose 9 starters on defense and it's not going to make any difference? It's just they're not very good.
He's
anyway?
just happy. He's just happy he's going to get an easy win this week because he was afraid the Raiders were going to knock the Chiefs out twice.
They would be.
The Raiders play the right kind of ball to beat the Chiefs. They play that bully ball, keep it away, and just smash mouth it. It's the right kind of ball, and they proved it once.
They did.
Madlock put that roster together to beat the Chiefs. I mean, that's the draft picks. Everything they did was basically they know they have to beat the Chiefs, and that's the team they built. The problem is they don't match up against other teams, but they match up really well against the Chiefs. So. But we'll see. I mean, if you have 9 starters out because of COVID, you're not winning anything. And
I agree.
It basically
100%.
becomes an exhibition game at that point. I mean, if it was an average team they were playing, I might agree with you, Jordan. But it's the Super Bowl champs they're playing. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, if you have 9 defensive starters out against Patrick Mahomes, you're going to lose. I mean,
That's a problem.
you're gonna lose with all your starters in the game against Mahomes and the Chiefs. But if you have that many starters out, you have a problem.
They were going to lose this game one way or another. That whole driving around the stadium thing and Gruden disrespected us. Andy Reid has his team worked up like we just got disrespected. There's no way they shocked us one time. We're not going to let them beat us again. But it's good that they have 9 starters out. It's not going to change the outcome of the game, but it's going to give George an excuse to overlook this game in next week's show.
That kind of stuff, the bus stuff going around, that's stuff for the fans. The players don't give 2 shits about that. That's all stupid stuff for the fans. Fans hang their coats on that. You think the players are playing, we're going to play harder now because they drove the bus around. I'm going to play harder this week. Bullshit. They play hard every week.
Yeah.
No, I think that coaches do use it, and people have chips on their shoulder about being disrespected. Don't you remember when T.O. ran into the Cowboys thing and went like, in the Cowboys star, and they just clobbered him the next time they played? Come on.
They clobbered him on the star. He got hit on the star.
Yeah, well, that too, but then he had one of his worst games ever the next time they played. So, just saying,
a lot's
the
changed in
disrespect
Dallas
is real.
since then.
Yeah, the pride is not there right now.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback got knocked out, and they all stood around and watched.
They're like, oh,
Pretty
shit,
bad.
look at that hit.
Yeah,
He just got nailed. Wow.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Like, share, all that. George, you got anything to say?
Hey, man, this is a great game tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the over is probably the better bet, but this is a fun tape measure game for both teams.
Jordan?
Yeah, tonight's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. In my opinion, they've asked too much of Russell Wilson, but he's delivered, and he should be in the MVP conversation. But nobody's putting Kyler Murray in the MVP conversation, who's putting up MVP numbers. And I think whoever wins this game and really puts up the showing between the quarterbacks will be the front runner for the MVP race at the moment.
And the winner of the
What about
Lamborghini
Mahomes?
competition is
That'll be me. I'll take it.
What about Mahomes?
I won. That's it. I declare myself the winner.
No. Send that Lamborghini to my house.
All right. Like, share, all that. Peace. See
All right,
y'all next
guys.
time.